Yo, what is going on, guys? Hess here, CollectiveKicks.com. If you guys want to shop this week's top sneaker deals, or if you want to buy either one of these shoes, the VaporMax or the VaporMax 2019, check the link in the description, and happy shopping. In this video, I wanted to give you guys just an overview comparison between the original VaporMax right here in the OG colorway versus the new VaporMax 2019. Show you guys some of the aesthetic changes that they made to the shoe, and basically that is kind of just the intent of this video, so you can see them side by side. And if you have any questions, maybe leave them in the comment section. And if you have answers that I did not cover in this video, you guys can answer them if you know them in the comment section as well. Feel free to do that. Subscribe if you guys are new to my sneaker channel, and notification bell to be notified of when my videos go live. Please note as a disclaimer, this is a casual perspective. And although the VaporMax in general is supposed to be for running, even though I don't think that a lot of people are actually using them for that, at the end of the day, I'm just letting you guys know that this is not a running perspective. This is just a casual usage perspective, and then an overall visual comparison between the two shoes. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and show you guys the two shoes. So the VaporMax was the very first pair of Nike shoes that actually featured a full-length Air unit midsole, meaning there is no actual midsole on this shoe other than that Air unit, which is definitely something different than we've seen in the past. Usually the Air unit is encased in like a Phylon or a foam sort of carrier, and the VaporMax changed that completely by having this sort of segmented approach of all of these different Air unit pockets on the bottom of the midsole, and then you have a little bit of nibs on the bottom for added traction for those that need it. So it was fun to see the evolution of this product to be able to actually feel like you're actually walking on air. And so this product I've done a lot of reviews on. Actually, one of my videos I did actually got 1 million views, which is insane. One of the very few videos that I have on my channel. But in that video, I mean, I talked about it a lot. This is a shoe that a lot of people love or they hate. The overall look of the shoe, some people feel like it looks and feels like a soccer cleat. I personally didn't like the squeaking of the shoe, like with the air bubbles on certain surfaces. I didn't love the segmented feeling when you walk, but it's also a shoe that I really got accustomed to, and it's actually a pair that I kept in rotation for quite a while. As you can see, this pair is pretty dirty and I didn't wash it. I always do clean this table afterwards, for those that don't know. I have like literally a case of baby wipes in the room. But anyway, so this was a shoe that I thought was really dope. Fast forward, and now we have the VaporMax 2019, and they changed a lot on this shoe on the upper, but the midsole is exactly the same from what I can tell. So that's something that we'll compare. First thing is this midsole. So you could see that the VaporMax 2019 versus the regular VaporMax looks pretty much identical. Like there is no differences that I can see visually to the bottom of this shoe. This one has a little bit of a nib right here that's flush, and it sticks out more on the newer version. I don't know necessarily why. This one sticks out back here. This one sticks out a little bit on this one more so than in the front. For some reason, it doesn't stick out on the front. I do have another pair to compare. So this pair, it's actually sticks out quite a bit on as well. So for some reason, my OG, the very, very first pair, it doesn't stick out right there, and I don't know really why. This is my my off-white pair that I have here that I got. I also do have another colorway of the VaporMax 2019. Shout out to Hibbett Sports for sending me this colorway, which is super, super nice, actually. I really like that one. But anyways, back to the bottoms. It's pretty much exactly the same as kind of what I would expect they did, because they didn't call it the VaporMax 2. They called it the VaporMax 2019. It's kind of a smart move because they created a midsole. They don't want to re-engineer something that costs millions and millions of dollars for them to create something like this. So they have the mold. They don't want to have to create another one. But even though the midsole is not like perfect in my opinion, it's definitely something that they wanted to keep the same, because obviously for cost benefit of not changing that up. I bet you in the future they'll change it up to a new VaporMax evolution, but it usually takes a handful of years. The Air Max lineage has done that time after time. It's kind of like cars in a sense, where they use the same body shape and style, and then they do a little bit of tweaks to the, you know, the ground effects or something like that, or the tail lights, and they don't do too big of changes. That's kind of what they've done with the foundation of this shoe, the midsole. But that's the only part that they kept really the same. From there, they changed up quite a bit. Some people are not happy with all of the changes. Some people don't really care. But one of the major changes that they did is obviously the original ones have that fly knit upper. It's kind of like a stretchy fly knit. And then they change it up with this new material that Nike seems to be pushing out. It's kind of like a, I don't really know how to describe this material, but you could see from the underlay here that it's somewhat see-through and it's kind of rough and plasticky feeling. It's not very soft and it's not flexible. So that's probably the two things that people don't love about it. This was the exact opposite. It was a soft and flexible type material, as you can see. And this is not as soft and nowhere near as flexible, in my opinion. Some people prefer Flyknit, some people don't. I think it's kind of smart that they're going away from that Flyknit upper, because Flyknit was cool for a while. But hi, Harrison. Can you say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Are you joining me for a video? Are we looking at these cool shoes?
Yeah.
Look at these big bubbles in the shoes. They look like big bubble gums. See?
Yeah, they're two like toothpaste gums.
Toothpaste gums?
Yeah. This one two like black, two twos. Yeah, two like poops and toots.
Poops and toots?
Yeah. What's this one name?
This one's called the VaporMax.
VaporMax.
Yep.
What's this one? This one.
They're actually all VaporMax. Which one out of these ones do you like the best?
I like the white one and the two black ones and the two white ones.
You like all of them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Shout out to Harrison for that video cameo there. They did a different approach on the newer version. As you can see, it kind of has a Frankenstein sort of stitch underneath the bottom of the Hyperfuse material. And this one is like a real cool like silver foil color. On the black pair, it's just like a matte black, so it's not as noticeable. And this makes it kind of flashier, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like a skeletal design almost of the shoe, which is kind of fun. I dig it. But then here you could see that they did like an internal cage up and little style element with the triangles on it and whatnot. And then you have a Nike swoosh over top of an overlay. But down here is like a really soft cloth material that leads up to the lace lock down here for these two, and then also for these two on the inside of the shoe. So they changed the lace lockdown quite a bit. The old one had the flywire approach that has the flywire coming straight up the shoe. So that is a pretty big difference. As well as the Nike swoosh right here is much bigger on the old one than on the new one. And then also this one has a Hyperfuse type material right here all the way up and around to the back of the heel. And it's something that you can't really see until you look up close, but it's definitely treated over top of the Flyknit. It's more noticeable on this pair. You see the Hyperfuse all the way down. So that added a little bit of reinforcement to the shoe in the shaping and everything else. And so, I don't know, it was pretty functional, but it's a minimalistic functional shoe, as you could see. And then they changed even the lace style. You had the flat laces on the old ones, and then the new ones have the rope laces. There's also a pretty big change to the tongue. This tongue was really dope. It was stretchy and it had a lockdown all the way up to the top, but it gave it a nice look to the shoe because it has a tongue on the shoe instead of it just being flush like that. I really dig the fact that they did that. This one, it doesn't do a good job of like pronouncing that there's a tongue here. It is detached though, which I do like, but you can see it goes all the way down. There is no comfort to the tongue though. There's just kind of the raw edge stitching on the back here, so it is a little bit rough actually on your foot. So wear with these without socks, it's a little bit rough. In the inside though, it's kind of like felt lined, so it's actually more comfortable inside down here, but the tongue area right here is not the most comfortable because of that. Also, it just doesn't really do a very good job of going outwards. It just lays flat and down. But it is kind of nice that they separated so you can wear these loose if you want. That was kind of a constraint of the other VaporMax. It was a little bit more snug in the middle section because it's just a stretch knit material versus these ones, which you can actually loosen as much as you want. The other big change is the collar of the shoe. You have a stretch material around. It's double Flyknit almost, and it is really pretty decent and form-fitting to your foot. On the new VaporMax, you have some additional padding. The only padding actually that you have on the shoe right here on the collar inside of the shoe. But it's kind of a weird design because it's extra cushioned right here, and then on top of that is a really rough material that goes all the way around the piping of the shoe, which was an interesting choice. Like, this is really tough material and you can feel it on your foot. So if you have ankle socks on and they go too low, this is really rough. It's not very comfortable that they added that little pipe to it. The back of the shoe has the pull tab here on the new version. The old version, they had that little Hyperfuse. It just had VaporMax here with the branding. The other big change of the shoe was the heel section. Back here, you can see there's extra reinforcement up on the midsole of the shoe. They actually have extra rubber that comes up on here. This had just that hyperfuse, as I already mentioned. This one doesn't have a hyperfuse material, but it is kind of like a suede sort of material right here on the back. So that's kind of a look at the overall aesthetics of the shoe. As for the overall fit, I went true to size on both of them, and the 9.5 on the VaporMax 1 does feel a little bit snug. The 9.5 on the VaporMax 2019 actually fits a little bit better just because it's looser and I have a wider foot across the midsection here. So for me, like the true to size on the 2019 was the right way to go. The true to size on the original one worked out okay, but it was a little bit snug. The overall upper on this shoe definitely is a lot looser. You do need to use the laces if you want to have some sort of lockdown. Versus the old one, I double laced the top, and then the tongue was actually the lockdown because it was already really snug down in that section. So I didn't really even need the laces. For the new one though, you do need the laces a little bit though, because it is a little bit more flimsy feeling, at least on my feet. But that's just because, again, of the material change. All in all, do I like the 2019 version? Is it worth buying it more than the original one? I mean, I hate those type of questions because I know that the ones you guys are asking and thinking in your heads on trying to justify a purchase, but the reality is it always depends on you and your personal preference and your personal feet. Everybody's feet's different. Everybody's preferences are different. So the way that I would recommend them to you is if you like a fly knit upper or more knit breathable upper that is more flexible where it needs to be and more form-fitting, then the old VaporMax with the fly knit was a way better choice in my opinion than the new one. If you like something that aesthetically has more layers on it, like has more dynamic to the shoe, I think that the VaporMax 2019 does a great job of that, and they bring it a little bit back to basics in a sense where it's like more of a utility looking type shoe because they have functional underlays to the shoe and there's overlays, and I mean it just looks like something that's a little bit cool, like more industrial-ish, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it just looks different than just a fly knit upper and laces, you know what I mean? So I like the fact that this has that, and if that's your appeal, then this is something that I think that you should give a try. As for the VaporMax in general, some people really like the shoes, some people don't. If you liked the old VaporMax, there's a really good chance that you will like the new VaporMax if you like those additional things that I already talked about regarding the fit and the style. So it's more of a style preference than anything. But if you've never tried a VaporMax at all, you're interested in buying one for the first time, if the first VaporMax is on sale for like $100 versus these ones that are $190, my bet is that you should try the $100 version before you buy the $190 version. These ones aren't flying off shelves, they're not selling out. So because of that, it's just one of those shoes that if you want to try them on in stores, I highly recommend you do that first and then see if it's actually something that you want to spend your money on. But I personally like the shoe. I think it looks dope. I'm happy that I got one at retail here. I'm extra happy that Hibbett Sports sent me the black pair because now I have something I can wear with different outfits and stuff, and they're both totally different. But that is my comparison video between the VaporMax and the VaporMax 2019. Again, if you guys want to buy either of them, check the links in the description to some retailers that are selling both of them, and hopefully you can check them out and leave some comments. Let me know, what do you guys think about them? I'm really curious to see, though. It's an evolution of a product that was very polarizing. But thank you guys again for watching. Subscribe to the channel again if you are new. Notification bell to be notified of when my videos go live. And have a great rest of the day. More sneaker videos very soon. Peace, guys.